Please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Welcome back. Just keep an eye out on the Asian markets. The Nikkei has actually now extended its cuts to about 1% now, so that one's sitting at the low point of the day. The Nikkei has seen a cut of almost about 216 points, so watch out for that. The SGX Nifty 2 earlier was indicating a cut of close to around 45 points. That has just exacerbated a little bit to 51 points. We will watch out for how that trend pans out, but most of the Asian markets are at the low point of the day. Remember, a lot of the Asian markets, they are shut, Hong Kong, Shanghai, as well as the Taiwanese indices, so we will watch out for that. But let's move on to a CNBC TV18 exclusive now. The chairman of JSPL, Naveen Jindal, tells CNBC TV18's Anshu Sharma that consultants have advised the company to demerge their steel and power as well as overseas business. Here's a slice of that conversation.
We have been advised by many people that presently JSPL has a very sizable power in it. JSPL has more than 5,000 megawatt power capacity in it. So it always, it's a natural thing for people to advise us that steel business should be separate and power business should be separate. So we are considering in the future, we are evaluating the various options, and after taking all the due approvals and taking all the stakeholders' view on board, we will like to do that in the future.
So you've often said that you're in the business of making steel and not divesting your assets. But if sources are to be believed, you're very close to selling your Africa mines. And could you tell us something about it?
So Africa mines is not a core asset to us. We do have an anthracite mine in South Africa, and we have a very big coal reserves, 6.5 billion tons. As much as the whole CAG report in India was talking about. So we have 6.5 billion just in Botswana. So these are some of the assets which are not really critical to our operations. So if we get the right price, we would look at divesting these.
But are you not actually in talks with investors to sell that? And if you are, what is the timeline and how much value will that be of?
So all these things I'm not supposed to disclose what value or who investors. There is interest by some investors. So let's see if it fructifies into something.
In 2015, I believe that consultants were brought in to ease the cross-holdings in each company. You and your brothers are share a quite a cordial relationship. What has happened to that?
Well, pretty much that exercise is already, it's over, it's complete. Already all the businesses, because during when my father was there, he had made the principles very clear. So there is everything, there's no issue between us brothers. There is a lot of love and respect for each other. So we all the time work with each other, support each other. So, I mean, by God's grace, things are wonderful between the family, and we hope to keep it that way.
But has that unwinding of cross-holding helped in terms of leveraging your assets?
Well, even earlier there was no issue like that. And now things have only become better.
All right, so we will watch out for all the developments that take place in that metals as well as power company. But Dr. Reddy's, that stock will be in focus today as the US court restrains the company from selling the generic variant of Suboxone. Ekta, on Friday you did say that this comes with a bit of a risk when they did go ahead and launch this. So today, what does this mean for the stock? All the gains on Friday stand to be pared down?
Well, there is a larger perception here that Dr. Reddy's is getting its act together. So that means that even despite this kind of injunction which has come through, the fact that they're powering ahead in terms of getting approvals would mean that maybe the larger picture for Dr. Reddy's is intact, despite this temporary hurdle that they're facing. So like you mentioned, there was this risk that I had highlighted on Friday itself, that the US courts could probably play a spoil spot when it comes to this. So now the innovator in this particular instance, Indivior, has moved the US court saying that, there is a patent outstanding, there is a patent litigation which is outstanding with regards to this drug, and we believe that we have a strong stance on it. So we would like Dr. Reddy's to stop selling this particular drug right now based on the particular patent that we're trying to protect. So the US court, what they have done is that they've told Dr. Reddy's that you cannot sell this particular drug drug in the US markets till the final hearing, and they've made an expedited date on the 28th of June to hear this particular case in order to see whether or not Dr. Reddy's has a case for an at-risk launch. Okay. So this is only one patent which is involved. So we don't know whether there is the other patents or the other litigation which is currently ongoing has something to do with this particular patent. This could be completely separate from the other patent litigations and could be an immediate way to protect the innovator from competition coming into the market. So let's see what happens on the 28th of June. But interestingly, Dr. Reddy's has mentioned that the court has said that you can continue manufacturing the drug in the meantime, and this is while this injunction is in order. So this was expected, but the larger perception for Dr. Reddy's is maybe it's getting its act together.
All right, fair point there, Rekha. Thanks a lot for that. We will keep an eye out on the developments on 28th June. So that is...
Well, as we take a break, here is a weather report from SkyMet.
Hi, this is Bhumika and you're watching SkyMet Weather Report. Mumbai rains have once again made a comeback, thus moderate to heavy rains are likely over the city during the next 24 hours. Konkan and Goa, coastal Karnataka and Kerala may see some showers. Meanwhile, rest of South India will remain dry and humid. However, light rains cannot be ruled out. In central India, isolated places of Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra may receive light rains. Meanwhile, dry and hot weather will prevail over rest of central India. In east and northeast India, moderate to heavy rains will continue over Sikkim, Sub-Himalayan West Bengal and northeastern states. However, East India will experience hot and humid weather with isolated rains over Gangetic West Bengal and Odisha. In North India, we expect light to moderate rains over Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. Dust storm and thunder showers are likely over Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, North Rajasthan and West Uttar Pradesh. Let us have a look at the temperatures across the country. Delhi will see its maximum temperature at 35 degrees Celsius and minimum at 25 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will see its maximum temperature at 29 degrees Celsius and minimum 22 degrees Celsius. Chennai, its maximum at 38 degrees Celsius and minimum at 27 degrees Celsius. That's all for now. Thanks for watching SkyMet Weather Report.
Welcome back. Well, Adani Green, which is the demerged entity of Adani Enterprises, will be listing on the exchanges today. Anisha is here with more details on that. Anisha?
Hi, Ekta. Good morning. Well, yes, as you mentioned, Adani Green is the demerged entity of Adani Enterprises, and the stock of Adani Enterprises actually went ex the green listing, and that was in April, and that time the stock actually adjusted by around close to 20 to 30 rupees, and that's the expectation today as well, that the stock will list anywhere between 25 to 30 rupees. Now remember, this will be the first company which is a standalone renewable business, and that's why we can see quite a bit of interest for this particular stock after a few deals that we have seen in the renewable space. Remember, the demerger was announced back in October, and then the shareholding that was expected to take place was 761 shares of AGEL issued for every 1,000 shares of Adani Enterprises, as well as post the listing the promoters will hold around 86% stake, while the public would hold around 14% stake. Now remember, this listing will be done to unlock value as well as provide flexibility in raising capital for financing sustainable growth for this particular business. We have seen with the Adani Group that they had earlier demerged the transmission, power and ports business, and it had created quite a bit of value for the shareholders, and that is expected this time around as well. Remember, they have been very aggressive when it comes to capacity expansion. Their target was to achieve the portfolio of 10 gigawatt by 2022 itself. In fact, in the last year, there was quite a bit of capacity addition, and the expectation is that FY19 will see a solid growth in numbers as well. Back to you.
All right, Anisha, thanks a lot for that. We will watch out for that listing. But from Anisha, let's go to Manisha, who's back from a holiday, back just in time ahead of that OPEC meet in Vienna this week. Morning, Manisha.
Morning, and thank you so much for that. Well, absolutely. You know, all that we have been talking about for last 1 month happens in this week, and the markets are quite nervous ahead of that. You already have seen a 3% decline in the crude oil varieties on Friday, and we have started today on a very jittery note as well. The volumes is also something to take a note of. And it's, while of course the Vienna meeting will be the star of the week, markets also are looking at the China threatening tariffs on U.S. energy products. China does import nearly 363,000 barrels of crude every day, and they also, in addition to that, import the energy products as well. Apart from that, you also have Venezuela crisis now spiraling out of control. The output has declined to near 1 million barrels per day from Venezuela as well. And then, of course, there are other geopolitical tensions brewing up in the Middle East as well. So everywhere that you look in sense of fundamentals for the crude oil prices, there is a lot happening. And it really, awaits to be seen on what really will make the maximum impact on the crude oil prices right now. But it's not just that. If you look at the metal prices, they have been under tremendous pressure. The Chinese data, whether it has been the industrial output, investments, retail sales, all of that has been weaker than what the markets were working with. You also have seen the euro decline after the cautious comments from the ECB. You also are looking at an increase in inventories on Shanghai exchanges. So there is a lot of pressure that we have seen here as well. The copper prices, if you look at that one right now, it's trading at a 2-week lows. You have aluminum prices trading at April lows. And we have seen nearly 3 to 4% of decline in most of these metals on Friday. And that's exactly where we are picking up on this Monday morning.
Okay, all right, Manisha. Thank you very much for that. So that's on the commodity space. But Banglam, what are you tracking in terms of the FNOQs?
Well, a couple of things, the Ekta, that really stand out. On Friday's trading session, while we did end in the green, that was purely courtesy the kind of moves that we saw in the IT space, Infosys as well as TCS. But the FIIs, they sold about 1,500 crores in index futures and most rather in the cash market, and that was primarily on account of the FTSE rebalancing. In index futures, we saw some purchase, close to around 600 crores worth purchase after a fair amount of selling in the previous few trading sessions. So out there, the FIIs added close to 8,200 longs. That compares with 2,700 shorts. But the FII is still net short in index futures. The big data point came in from the Indian index options, 3,300 crore worth purchase out there. So what exactly did the FIIs do in index options? On Friday's trading session, they added close to 29,000 long puts seeking protection on the lower end, unwound close to 7,250 short puts. That's telling you that the people who did ride the put are feeling a little bit jittery and covering some positions. In index options, they added 2 long calls per short call. However, overall, we saw more call writing as against put writing. Watch out for Balrampur Chini. That stock comes out of the FNO ban in today's trading session. So those are the stocks in focus. But for all the other stocks, we have Sonal with us, who will list out the stocks that will be in the news today. Morning, Sonal.
Good morning, Manglam. I'll start with Panisha Biotech. That stock will be in focus because along with a partner, it has entered into a settlement agreement with Celgene for a cancer therapy product. And why is it positive for the company is because the settlement is providing a clarity on date of launch and also lack of litigation risk. Expect that stock to do well in trade today. Now, reports are suggesting that New Delhi Municipal Corporation will seek to re-auction Taj Mansingh on July 18. So Indian hotels will be in focus today. Also, ONGC has sold natural gas from 3 coal bed methane for $5.77 MMBTU to 6.12. And remember, this is higher price than what the center is offering. Expect that stock to do well in trade today as well. Also, reports are suggesting that Department of Telecommunications is likely to approve Vodafone India and Idea merger today. So Idea stock will be in focus. Now let's move on to brokerages. Credit Suisse has written on L&T and has an outperform rating and says that FY18 domestic EPC inflows are exceeding rupees 1 trillion despite no meaningful contribution from the real estate and other segments, and also they expect very strong inflows for the company going forward, and that's why they are expecting good earnings from the company and remain bullish on the stock. Jefferies has also written on SBI Life. They maintain a buy with a target price of 804 rupees. They say that it has a geographically diverse retail-oriented portfolio, and that is what will help the company, and they expect the stock to do well going forward.
Okay, all right, Sonal. Thanks very much for that. And with that, it's also a wrap on Power Breakfast. Stay tuned. Bazaar Morning Call just after short break.